Have you all seen a car so beautiful that you could honestly care less how it performed? Well, the bicycle version of that car for me is the Bianchi Methanol Countervail full suspension 29er, and I finally got my hands on one. I have honestly turned down numerous inquiries into sponsoring some of my videos because it's products that I just don't use, but whenever Bob and Brad contacted me and said, hey, we'll send you a free product and pay you to do an ad, will you do one for us? I was like, dude, I already have a product. If you need something to help you recover really well, these massage guns work freaking miracles. But their newest product is called the Air 2 Mini Massager, and it is their answer to the Theragun Mini. This portable little beast is perfect for anything that involves travel, and I'm going to love being able to keep this thing in my race bag. It is the first minigun under $100 with 12mm amplitude motor for deep muscle relief. It does come with 5 interchangeable heads and offers continuous use of 2 to 4 hours per charge. It also comes with a nifty carrying case. Yes, they did sponsor this video, but even before that I was recommending their product as the best bang for the buck, reliable massage gun that I have used. So if you were looking, give them a try. Discount code below as well, save you 10% off this already low priced machine. Bianchi is a brand that has a storied race history that started with their inception all the way back in 1885. One thing I have always loved about Bianchi is their Celeste colorway. This is Bianchi, and if you don't like it, they also offer just black. Now, in all honesty, Bianchi is definitely more of a road bike brand, so I'm always interested in what a road race brand will do with a mountain bike. I mean, just look at every Pinarello mountain bike that's ever came out. Those are kind of... So before we get to anything, let's go over the stock specs on the bike. We'll talk to Keith and he will tell us what he changed on the bike and why. And then we'll dive into the details about what I think, give my first impressions. Again, this isn't going to be a full-on review. I can't review every single bicycle out there as much as I wish I could because I can't afford to purchase every single bike and put 3+ months on it, because in my opinion, you really don't get to know a bike until you've at least got a few weeks of good quality riding time with it. So one ride, I consider these first impressions. So let's dive into the specs. The fork that it comes stock with is a RockShox SID SL Select 29. It does have the charger damper inside of it, and it is, again, 100mm. The rear shock is a SRAM SID Lux. This is, again, a 100mm front and rear travel bike. Shifters, drivetrain, all that good stuff is a mix between XT and XTR. Crankset is the FSA K-Force. It's a BB392 full carbon crank. Depending on what size you go with, it's going to be anywhere from a 170 to a 175. Chain and cassette are actually Shimano. I was happy that Bianchi kind of stuck with all Shimano products, not, you know, going a little cheap on the chain or something. I always like those little details. The brakes are going to be Shimano XTs. They are the BRM 8100s. They are not 4-piston out of the box. The wheels that this thing comes with stock are the DT Swiss XR1700 Spline 29s. Great set of aluminum wheels, but they are aluminum if you're worried about that kind of stuff. It does come not stock with a dropper post. It is just a carbon, regular old seat post. And then it's the Reparto course, you know, handlebars, stem, that kind of stuff. A pretty decent build out of the box. This thing is going to retail at, well, on their website I can't exactly find what this thing is going to retail at bone stock. So I will get that from the shop and we will completely post it, but I guess maybe this website is too smart for me, or I'm too dumb for it, one of the two, but I can't find the retail prices for the United States. I found some in the UK, but not for for the dollar sign. I don't know. All right, let's move on. The CV in the name stands for Countervail, which is proprietary to the Bianchi product. Bianchi CV is a vibration canceling system that combines viscoelastic material together with a special carbon fiber architecture to dissipate vibration. It is said to reduce vibration in the frame by up to 80%. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, with my limited ride on this bike and with Keith's input, I'm still not convinced that I can even feel the Countervail on a bike that has front and rear suspension along with 2.4 tires on it. I could be completely wrong, but let's just leave that one in the category of needs further investigation. Now, what did Keith change on his bike and why?
All right, well this is my Bianchi Methanol. Always wanted one, finally was able to get one. So I'll go over what I switched on it, which part of that's because we couldn't get the 120 travel bike because they didn't really have those. So I put a SID Ultimate on the front, 120 travel, and replaced the 100 mil travel fork. I did XTR shifter, XTR cassette, carbon wheels, giant XCR ones to have a little bit wider wheel and a little bit lighter. Pro carbon bars, pro stem, dropper post, and 4-piston brake on the front just to have a little bit better braking. The rear I can't change because it's direct mount, pretty much a road bike brake. So it should be more, I guess, modern XCO trail bike. It rides good.
Why do you want to race this one over the Salsa?
Because it's 4.5 pounds lighter. I'm doing Swank 65 next weekend. It's the last one of the Pisgah Hardcore series. It's out in Brevard, 30 miles, 5,100 feet of climbing, so that's why I kind of would prefer a little bit lighter bike if possible, but if it's messy and muddy, I'll be on the old pink Spearfish, so.
The why part is quite easy. The bike will eventually be for sale, so Keith wanted to keep the wheels, handlebars, etc. as close to new as possible, as close to as stock as possible. He also changed it to accommodate the races in and around Pisgah instead of a straight up 1.5 hour XC machine. So what do I think about this beautiful, magnificent, full suspension bicycle from Bianchi? Well, I'm not going to just keep gushing about how gorgeous the bike is, but if I am going to be quite honest, this is just a good, no-frills XC race machine. The bike is in fact a single pivot, which means it will be lightweight, stiff, and not the greatest at the real chunder that you can find in the Pisgah mountain range, but what it lacks in the downhill department, it will more than make up for in its climbing prowess. Keith was coming off of a Salsa Spearfish that weighed 28 to 29 pounds on a good day, and said he was PRing climbs in Pisgah on the Bianchi with tired legs. Now, single pivot bikes are nothing new. If you watch this channel, you know that I ride a ton of single pivot bikes. It's honestly what everyone uses on their race bike, the Giant Anthem, Orbea Ois, the Specialized Evo, all variations of a single pivot design, which leads me to the thought that this bike might be a little overpriced for what you get stock, but I also know so many people that purchase the bike that is overpriced just so they can have that little bit more of a niche brand or have something you don't see on the trails every day. So that is something to be said. These bikes are assembled in Italy. They are not made in Italy. You got to read the fine print there. These frames come out of Taiwan. They more than likely come out of a giant factory, but you can't deny that they are not beautiful bicycles. Let's weigh this thing and then wrap up the video. With the added dropper, more travel, pedals, and all, this bike is 26 pounds, which is phenomenal weight for a 120/100 marathon machine in extra large to boot. So in conclusion, and yes, this bike is in a brand spanking new redesign, even though it is the newest model, but it's been so hard for me to find one of these beauties that I had to show it off once I did. Now, do I think you should run out tomorrow and buy one because it will win you your next 100-mile mountain bike race? Absolutely not. But I do think Bianchi did something that a lot of other race pedigree brands don't do. They did not try to reinvent the wheel here. This is a solid, single pivot, beautiful machine that I would be honored to ride. But, I think the Giant Anthem or the Orbea always will suffice just as well. And what I'm getting at with that is every time some of these companies that are, you know, like, I don't know, pre-1950 pedigreed race brands, when they come out with an off-road machine, they really seem to try to make it, not make it their own, but they try to reinvent it to be like, here's our technology that you have to have, like Pinarello. Look at some of their mountain bikes that they've come out with in the past. They don't ever sell well, and to me, I think Pinarello just does it because somebody like Tom Pidcock, who races for Sky on road and then is gonna race mountain bikes, Pinarello doesn't want him on anything but one of their products, so they come out with something. Bianchi's product, on the other hand, is a true race bike. They did not try to reinvent the wheel. They stuck with a single pivot design, gave it a little tweaks, made it their own, and they just made a good full suspension race bike. I respect that. Thank you, Bianchi, for doing that. So what do you guys think of Bianchi and their off-road machines? I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Also, we have to take a moment just to recognize the terrible bike protect job that was applied on this specific bicycle. The stuff that Keith used on this bike in particular isn't super sticky. It does its job, but it doesn't affect the paint at all. That's kind of the one reason we use it on our personal bikes. But dang, does it not look bad.